Hello everybody, this is Dr. David Lombard, your Christian psychologist. Today I'm going to talk about something that's been on my heart and my mind a lot for the past couple of months, and that has to do with our fast-paced life and the impacts that has on our stress, anxiety, depression, relationships, so many elements of our daily feelings of pleasure are driven by our success or failure at keeping up to speed with everybody else around us. And so I want to talk about something, another author that I was reading a couple months ago who really hit home, and I love the analogy that he used. And the analogy that he used is camel speed. Now, let's talk about what we mean by camel speed. By the way, this was a gift from my wife. Thank you to my wife very much for that. So what do we mean by camel speed, and why is that relevant for mental health? Well, it's incredibly relevant for mental health. Now let's think historically as us, as creatures on this planet. We've been around for tens of thousands of years. And for the vast majority of that time, if we wanted to go quickly from place to place, we either took a camel or a horse, depending on where you were living, and maybe some other four-legged animal that you rode. And that's the speed that you went at. And that was fast. And so if you think about your day, let's think, okay, you wake up and you're at your home, whatever kind of home you may have, and you're thinking, okay, I need to see Kevin because I'm having some problems with something here at my house, and so I'm going to go talk to him, but he lives 5 miles away. Well, when I get on my camel and go there, that's going to take a bit of time to get there, talk to Kevin, and a bit of time to get back. So a long time ago, really just a couple hundred years ago, really, if you think about it, people did not fill their days with that many activities, because going to Kevin's to talk to him about a problem I'm having on my farm, that may be the only thing I can do that day in addition to the stuff I need to get done on my farm. So you go back just 150, 200 years ago, and people were not driving around all over the place. They didn't have mass transit, high-speed trains and things to do, planes to get from place to place, where really, when they think about their day, the tasks they were doing were the things they needed to get done at their house or at their job, and then maybe one other thing, because that's all they could really handle in a day. Because, us today now, we struggle with the fact that, well, I could run 6 errands in a row on a Saturday. I just have to plot out which store and use MapQuest so I can go from point A to point B, point C, stop at a Starbucks on the way to get the caffeine I need. So when I go to the next the next place, I got all that energy to keep going and going and going. And we do that a lot. I was planning on doing that this afternoon with multiple things that I needed to get done until I realized, I need to really dial it back and just plan on doing 1 or maybe 2 things today and not try to do so much. So why, from a mental health perspective, this transition from going from camel speed to car speed and plane speed and all the things that we do? So we now think that we're responsible for getting all these things done because I do have a car and I could go for all those places. That somehow I'm a failure if on a Saturday I don't get 5 things done. I only got 2 things done. So did I waste my Saturday? Or, I worked from 9 until 5 and I'm driving home. I could do 2 or 3 errands, maybe 4 errands, and get those things knocked out because I've got a car. Or maybe I do live in a city with mass transit and I can take, the subway over to this stop, get off, do a couple things, then go to the next stop, get off, do a thing, and then get home. Well, that puts a lot of stress on us, and a lot of stress that we were not designed for. Remember, 10,000 or more years we've been around without mass transit, without cars, and we did perfectly fine living. But our modern life does put a lot of that time pressure stress on us. So from a mental health perspective, what can we do to change that? Now, we can change that, but you've got to take some active control on how you do it. So one of the things I want you to do is imagine when you look at your day, what if I only had a camel? What would be the things that I can get done? So kind of a rule of to use, or kind of a framework or rubric to use, is thinking, okay, if I worked today, I'll do 1 other task. Because if I had to go from work to home, maybe my camel could help me do 1 other task. And if it's a weekend, maybe my camel could get me to do 3 different things, different places, maybe, to get stuff done. So think about your weekends and your activities, or your day, your work days and activities in that way. We were only going to do 1 more thing, maybe at most, on a weekday when you're working, and 3 things on the weekend. Try not to upload all these things into your daily calendar where you then feel like you're a failure if you don't run from place to place. Second, my camel has to rest in between different activities. My horse had to rest. I had to feed my horse, things like that. So often it was in their days that they had to take an hour in between activities. So I want you to think about the same thing. So for example, Monday, I'm going to work from 9 in the morning here at the office until 5. If I have something else I want to do, I'm not going to do that until at least 6:15, maybe even 6:30. I'm going to give myself time to get home, give myself time to relax, rest for a little bit, and then shift to do that one other task I want to get done. And it could be something as simple as getting the kitty litter cleaned out, because our cat does like to use the kitty litter box, or some other small task. But I give myself time between tasks. That's one of the other things that we're not doing in the modern world is we go from task to task to task. Look at your schedule. If you use one of those apps with your schedule, you probably plan task on top of task on top of task in your schedule, and you don't book an hour just to relax in between. We need to relax in between. We're designed to relax in between. Then the third thing, if you can do it, is try to travel at camel speed. When you can, walk places. When you can, take a bicycle someplace. Try to actually make your transition from one place to another a little bit slower. I value that time. When I walk to work, it's time when I can clear my mind, think about things, think about maybe my Bible study from the morning, think about something that's going on with my wife, think about things I want to do for my kids, and just kind of peacefully have that time alone to think, as opposed to when I'm driving, I better be paying attention to the road and not being so much in my head. But when I walk or ride my bicycle, I'm a little bit freer to do those kinds of things. So when you can, try to transition from one place to another that way. Now, I know you can change some of these things, and you may go counter to expectations of other people. So anytime we change our daily habits, we do get some pushback from the people in our lives. So expect a little of that. That's normal. Because if your kids are used to you running from place to place to place and doing 10 things in a day, you may have to tell them, hey, we're going to slow down a little bit. We've crammed too much into our day, and it's creating stress and anxiety, not only for me, but for you kids too, because you're worried about whether we're going to get to the next thing on time. So we're going to do things a little slower. We're going to transition a little bit of time in between activities. And when we can, we're going to walk together to things, or we're going to bike together to things. Now, I'm hoping that these are helpful for you as you look at the next kind of schedule you've got for the next few weeks. Please feel free to send me any kind of feedback. I love getting feedback on these videos, or shoot me an email at david@davidlombard.com. Hopefully these will help you to slow down a little bit, travel a little bit more at camel speed, and just think about that as a metaphor for how we are designed, how we are wonderfully created to be able to handle this world and all the stresses that are naturally there, without adding that other overlay of just expectation of, because I've got a car, I need to run. Hopefully you have a great week wherever you are. As always, this is Dr. Lombard, your Christian psychologist. God bless. Take care.